Tim Montgomery, what do you make? Do you think that, do you think, we had a caller earlier who said cancel all festivals. I said he was a miserable old sod. But do you think we should actually move it?
It's very hard really to comprehend something. When you think of 1 million people, it's a big number. A lot of people...
Over 3 days.
Yeah. A lot of people will have had a fantastic time in London over the last 2 days. Most people will have enjoyed it completely peacefully, and will be very happy memories of this for a long time. 330-odd crimes is too much. It's always too much.
Yeah.
But I wonder how much worse it is than London generally, I'm afraid. Now, that raises the question, how is London police generally, of course? But I'm not sure it's Notting Hill Carnival that's the problem. It's the way that our police forces tolerate lots of low-level crimes in normal circumstances, and they come together and it all explodes over a festival.
But this is it, and this is where we get into the two-tier policing argument, where you see, for instance, the anti-Israel, pro-Hamas marches, which is what they have become to all intents and purposes, those marches every other Saturday in central London, being basically, there's no trouble at those. Well, no, because the police don't intervene, even when people are blatantly breaking the law, shouting anti-Semitic things, anti-Semitic flags and protest marches. I'm sorry, it's quite clear to me if the police intervene, then there would be trouble. But when you do get some events organised by, like Tommy Robinson and others, look, maybe there's more likely to be trouble. I don't know. I'm not casting aspersions. I'm just saying that realistically, when you see the police kettling people and going in very quickly, you're going to see a different level of behaviour.
I think you've asked, why do the police not intervene on these marches? Why do the police and prison service not stop drugs going into prisons? Why don't the police deal with shoplifting? It's because they know if they started to deal with these things, they couldn't cope with the reaction.
Yeah.
What is happening across our prison estate, across our cities at the moment, is a management of a problem rather than a confrontation. And
that's what we saw with the riots of the summer. I'm all for police getting involved when there's a riot. What we saw in Leeds, when there were people rioting over kids being taken into care perfectly legitimately. People burning buses. It was really violent scenes. The police scarpered. I understand for their safety, but they did not come back again. But we did not see that.
They did come back a bit. They did come back, over previous 12 hours
later.
And they did make arrests.
Well, that was nice of them, leaving people to have burning buses outside their homes. And then we had what happened post Southport, which was also absolutely disgusting behaviour, but a completely different reaction. The fast tracking of those people to be prosecuted. Now, I'm sorry, anyone who says there's not two-tier policing in this country in terms of peaceful, ostensibly peaceful events where crimes are being committed, but also violent events, riots, it's blatantly obvious that they are not policed in the same way. And the only difference I can see is who the people are who are committing those crimes.
Yeah. Well, I think I have a lot of sympathy with that. And Keir Starmer and Labour government would do themselves a huge favour if they tackled that. And it's like...
But they can't.
So, for example, Muslim communities, who I think they are too deferential to, if you are most older Muslims, they are very worried about their children's behaviour. Muslim mums and dads, to simplify it, want the police to police their kids. You're not making a statement against Muslim communities. No. You're actually being deferential to a group within the Muslim community.
The police and the public and the government should always be on the side of law and order.
Yeah.
I don't care what your religion is or what colour you are, how old you are, or your sexuality or anything else, or what your cause is. If you are rioting on the streets, if you are throwing bricks at people, you're setting fire to things, you're targeting people because of any of those things, I'm sorry, I want you arrested and I want the police involved and I will back the police every time on that. And that's what most people in this country think, whatever their racial or religious background.
Preach it, sister. Preach
well,
it.
No, but this is the thing. So I don't understand what's controversial about that. But they just seem to be... They tiptoe around certain communities and then they wonder why... So it's not that we're saying, no, don't arrest people who are rioting across the country post Southport with no justification. We're saying, no, tackle everybody in the same way.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of the junior police officers would like to. I think it's a lot of their commanders who don't support that. And there is this question of resource at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you did try and tackle it properly, would the prison service, would the police, would the courts be able to cope with the reaction?
Yeah, exactly. They can barely cope.
But there isn't even a plan to start to begin to do it. That's the problem.
No, just literally start building. I remember having an interview with David Cameron back in, good God, 2012 or something like that, and basically saying, you need to build more prisons.
Yeah.
And he goes, they cost money. I went, put my taxes up. And I did a phone-in, literally, like, would you have your taxes put up to pay for more prisons? And everyone was was going, absolutely we would. Yeah. Can I just also ask you about this extraordinary stat on the front of the Telegraph today? Police are increasingly letting knife and sex offenders escape prosecution, and all they have to do is, wait for it, say sorry. Yeah, you heard that right, guy. You heard that right. Basically, more than 147,000 people accused of offences, including sex crimes, violence, possession of weapons, were given what are called community resolutions. This is in the year to March. So it's all under the Tories. This is under the Tory watch. But they weren't prosecuted. They do not get a criminal record. They have to accept responsibility and say sorry. I mean, this is obscene. I'm not even sure, you should have a lot of this for, anything other than shoplifting and, peeing in the street. But this should be, at the same time, by the way, they don't actually prosecute anyone for shoplifting. But there's other stats out today as well. But I mean, violent offenders, sex offenders, being told if you say sorry, then no criminal record. This is not the deal for the vast majority of law-abiding citizens.
And at the same time, they're sort of going backwards on, prosecuting properly those offences. Last week, they heard that they're going to introduce sort of new laws against extreme misogyny, I think. So would you be able to be let off if you say sorry on that? Or it's not just, Julia, a problem of...
Not if it was a tweet, 20 years.
Oh, yeah, that would be outrageous. Unforgivable. Hit someone violently, that's fine, as long as you say sorry. No, it's not just a problem of two-tier policing. I think we have a problem of two-tier crimes. There's certain crimes that seem to matter more to this new government and those in power than others, and that doesn't chime with the public. We want those sort of traditional offences dealt with. That's their priority.
Traditional, just the crimes that actually impact people and hurt them. Exactly.